In this video we're going to be taking a look at Mon Mothma for the Black Series line. So this is an action figure I've been eyeing for a couple months now, pretty much ever since it was announced that it was going to be made into a figure. Personally, I'm a fan of Mon Mothma. I think she's an interesting character, kind of underrated. Maybe not so much among the OT community, but at least in the last 20 some years I think she's been underrated. So before this, the last time we got an action figure of Mon Mothma was during the Revenge of the Sith line, if I recall correctly, which I do have that figure here as well, and I kind of consider this version, or the Black Series action figure of Mon Mothma, to be basically the Black Series version of the Revenge of the Sith Mon Mothma. Unfortunately, her scenes were cut from Revenge of the Sith, but there are some enlightening deleted scenes that I would recommend checking out if you have never done so already. And I'll give this figure its own separate review at some point. I think it deserves its own video. As for this action figure, though, she is based upon her appearance from the Andor series. I have not seen the series at all, but I have heard a lot of great things about it, and I think it's one of those series that I think it's been out for about a year now at this point, and it seems like it's aged pretty well. A lot of times with the recent Star Wars series, people initially are like, oh, this is such a great series, and then it comes down to it, a couple months go by and they're like, the series wasn't as good as I initially thought it was. But it doesn't seem like that's been the case for Andor. In fact, I think as time goes on, Andor has gotten an even better reputation than it did when it initially came out. And now that we have shows like Ahsoka and even the Bad Batch to an extent, and some of the other shows that are going to be coming out soon, sounds like Andor set the bar pretty high with the quality of the shows, and so far Ahsoka hasn't been cutting it, as far as I can tell. I haven't seen Ahsoka either. I just haven't really heard a lot of good things about it. But for the subject of Mon Mothma here, like I said, I've been eyeing this for a little while now. Finally decided to go ahead and get one. Got it at the store a couple days ago. It is $24.99, which I think is pretty expensive for 6-inch action figures, but I haven't been getting a whole lot of action figures lately, and this is one I've been really wanting for a while now, and there was one on the shelf, so I went in and got it. I would like to get the HK-87 droid at some point as well, but I didn't want to spend $50 for 2 action figures. So at some point I will get that. Well, without saying anything any further, just go ahead and take a look at this package here. So this is the plastic-free packaging, which fortunately did not turn out to be a big hit for Hasbro. It is a nice image of Mon Mothma there, and an image of her on the side from Andor, Senator Mon Mothma. I'm trying to think what the actress's name that plays as her is. I know it starts with a G, though. And there's a description there. She's figure number 7 for Andor. She is there. She stands about 5'7". She seems about accurate. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this figure. But I would almost say this isn't even an action figure at all. It's more in the statue category, because you really can't do a whole lot with her because of her robes. And that is one thing the Andor action figures are suffering from, is there's not a lot of excitement with them. I'm trying to think of some of the characters that are from the series. This might be the only Andor action figure I actually get. But this is a very nice one. It's a very good head sculpt. Looks exactly like the actress. I think her name's Geraldine. or Guinevere or something like that. But it's very spot on. The hair sculpt, facial features, everything about it looks really nice. And nothing looks lopsided or lumpy in any way. For ropes here, everything is cast in plastic. There is no soft goods at all, which is good in some ways and hindrance in others. Like I said, you're not going to get a lot of mobility out of this action figure, at least from the waist down, that is. But even in the arms here, her robes are draped a certain way where if you have her arm like that, it just doesn't look very natural. So you're kind of stuck with her being in this pose. But there is very nice detailing in her robes. A pretty heavy action figure as well. And it's mostly white. A little bit of gray here and there. And then she has these high heel boots on. And fortunately, they did not put the hole on her foot in the most inconvenient spot possible like they did on this one, to where you're not going to get a stand on it at all. And she can be a little tricky to stand because you can't move her feet at all, really. She does have all the articulation that a normal action figure has. She got to position her in a way where she's kind of got that slant to her. But speaking of articulation, she does have a ball joint at the head there. Pretty good range of motion in that. She does have I think it's basically the butterfly joints at the shoulders there, which is very nice that they did that. And she does have hinged elbows and hinged wrists, which both go in an up and down motion. I'm sure she does have a swivel waist on the inside there, or a hinged waist, but because of her robes, you are unable to utilize that. Same with her hips there. Pretty sure she has hinged hips. And then I would assume a swivel thigh, but she does have hinged knees and then the rocker ankles. But like I said, because of her robes here, you're not really going to get a lot of motion out of it. And another drawback is, unfortunately, she does not have any weapons and accessories of any kind. Would have been nice if they could have given her a baton or something like that, or a communicator or headgear or something. For being a $24.99 action figure, you think Hasbro could have gave a little more value. But I will say one thing about an action figure with no accessories is when you open it, as long as there's an action figure in there, you know that you have everything. You don't have to go through each and every accessory and make sure you have everything. So I guess that's convenient. Maybe you can go look at her real quick. Oh, well, try to at least. Like I said, she can be kind of tricky to stand. Because she has those boots on, she doesn't have much of a footprint. And because her feet are so close together, it makes it even harder for her to stand. Well, once you can get her in a stable position, she looks really good. Very stern expression. I think that's pretty much all I can tell you about this Mon Mothma action figure. What you see is pretty much all there is to it. Would I recommend her for your collection? If you're a fan of the character, or you're a fan of the Andor series, or you've been wanting a Mon Mothma in your collection for a while now, this is a fantastic action figure. Like I said, you can't really do a whole lot with her. She's more in the statue category. She'll just look good in the background with the rest of your Black Series action figures. But even with that alone, I think she's really nice. And I'm sure she'll be a good action figure to have for dioramas or Rebels displays or even Republic displays, since you can have her in the prequel era as well. So she's a very nice action figure all around. Looks exactly like the character, looks exactly like the actress. Can't really ask for much more, other than maybe a few accessories, but that is what it is, unfortunately. Overall, for the figure itself, I give it a solid 9 or 10 out of 10. Just can't really argue with it. And like I said, I'm a fan of Mon Mothma in general, so it's a must-have for me. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There will be lots more to come. And check out the links in the description if you have not done so already. And like and subscribe if you haven't done so as well. And thanks for watching.